What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Comics Clash. Last weekend, The Flash dropped in theaters, so today I'm going to be giving you guys my full DCEU tier list, so let's dive right into it. Alright, so first taking a look at the tiers, at the top we got Masterpiece, which is 10 out of 10, Awesome 9 out of 10, Great 8 out of 10, Decent 7 out of 10, Meh 5 or 6 out of 10, Bad we got 5 to 3 out of 10, and then Absolute Garbage, which is just reserved for one movie on this list. But let's just dive right into the tier list. Alright, so first off we have Man of Steel, which kicked off the DCEU. And man, this movie is absolutely awesome. It's everything that superhero movies should aspire to be. It's a perfect origin story for the character of Superman, and it's just so well written, so well directed, beautifully choreographed, a amazing score. It's just something that is so awesome. General Zod is a great villain. There's some amazing fight scenes. The first flight scene is one of my favorite superhero movie scenes of all time. It's absolutely stunning. It makes you feel like you're actually flying, like you're actually Superman. It's absolutely beautiful. Man of Steel is such an awesome superhero origin movie, and I love it quite a bit. Now, there are a few issues with the pacing and a little bit of the writing, but overall, Man of Steel is an awesome movie, and it deserves to go in that awesome tier, even though a lot of people hate on it for no good reason. We got Batman vs. Superman, and for this one, I'm just going to be calling it the Ultimate Edition, because the Ultimate Edition was the full movie and what we actually were supposed to get. So let's just dive right into it. So Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition is actually a pretty great movie. There's some amazing fight scenes. There's some great kind of character arcs with Superman and Batman, and just seeing their stories, their side of the story is really interesting to see. Amazing, amazing fight scenes, very well choreographed. The warehouse Batman fight scene is absolutely sick. There's just so much great visuals in here, a great score as well, and it is just a fun movie to watch. It's not like amazing, and there are definitely some issues with the villains. Of course, Lex Luthor kind of sucked. Doomsday was pretty much wasted, and there are a couple of issues with how it's paced out, especially in the Ultimate Edition. But it's such a fun movie. It's great to see these characters fight, interact, and just seeing these awesome fight scenes, these really cool, badass shots. Like, it's a fun movie. And then having Wonder Woman thrown in there for the final battle was really great to see. The Trinity fighting was so cool. And it might be on the lower end of the great tier, but I still want to put it on the great tier because it's a pretty great movie. Then we got 2016 Suicide Squad. Now, I don't hate on this one as much as most people do. I still think it has its fun elements, an amazing soundtrack because there are some of my favorite songs in there. Heathens is a great one, Sucker for Pain. You know, the Suicide Squad soundtrack has a lot of bangers, but overall, you know, the movie, it's not very well written, not very well done. Some of the, action's a bit sloppy, some of the way the story's paced, the villains kind of suck. But I still have fun with it, honestly, because of the soundtrack and some of the action. There's also quite a few nice things with these characters, honestly. Deadshot has a couple of nice moments, and then Harley has some nice moments, and just seeing their characters grow throughout the film. It's actually pretty nice to see them finding a little bit of family within one another. Now, of course, the Suicide Squad 2021 did it so much better, but this one still has its nice elements. But I can't really put it on the decent tier, so I'm gonna have to go meh with it just because of the bad writing, the horrible villain decisions, and then just the entire pacing of the film. There's a lot of bad CGI as well, and it is kind of on the meh, but I had some dumb fun with it. It's an alright film. Then we got Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is pretty great. I mean, amazing soundtrack, great performance by Gal Gadot. It's an interesting, fun movie to watch. Now, it does fall apart in the third act with the big CGI bad guy and then some of the plot points ending there. But it was still a really great film with some amazing scenes, especially when Wonder Woman's coming out of the trench. The trench scene was so cool. It just really showed how much of a badass her character was. Gal Gadot does give a great performance as a character. I love Steve Trevor in this one as well. Now, I'm not a huge fan of like the World War II aspect of it because it just doesn't really fit as well with me as I think it should with the character. But I still really enjoy it, even though the third act falls apart. Amazing soundtrack, great acting, great action. It's a really great film. I'm gonna put it on the lower end of the great tier, but it is still a very great movie. Wonder Woman is a great time. Then we got Justice League. Freaking. You already know where I'm going to put that one. Absolute garbage. I hate Justice League with a passion. It's my least favorite comic book movie of all time. Joss Whedon ruined something that could have been so amazing. I freaking hate that guy. Oh, he literally. How the hell did this guy give us the first Avengers movie, which is absolutely insanely great, and then he gave us this piece of trash that he absolutely ruined from Zack Snyder? All the issues from behind the scenes can be shown in front of the camera as well because this movie is absolute dog crap. How many horrible jokes, so many cringy lines. All the acting is so off. It's just such a horrible film. The CGI sucks. The color palette is so bad. I freaking hate Justice League. I'm never gonna watch it again. I the last time I watched it was before the Snyder Cut, and god damn it, bro, why is it so bad? Why? How did Joss Whedon ruin something so great? We could have had a full Snyderverse if it wasn't for this film. Anyway, next up we got Aquaman. Aquaman's pretty solid. We've got some dumb fun into it. Black Manta and Orm are pretty great villains. I love seeing them on screen. Of course, we got Amber Turd, but she's alright in this film. There's some really cool action at the end with the Atlanteans fighting underwater, but it does feel pretty generic in it just how what kind of a movie it is. I don't love it, but I have a great time watching it, especially with the fight scenes and then Orm and Black Manta as the villains, which are just really cool to see. It's a basic adventure film, and you know there's some aspects in the writing and just how everything plays out that I don't enjoy, but it's a very decent movie, almost on the great tier. Aquaman's a pretty solid film. Then we got the first Shazam movie, and after seeing the second Shazam, I was very disappointed in how they ruined this character because the first film was so awesome. It was such a great time. The humor slaps, just the character of Shazam, the Zachary Levi performance that you get from it is so much fun. It's just a really fun film. One of the funnest superhero films. It's got some of those lighthearted moments, those nice little emotional moments with the family and stuff. Now, them getting all powers was definitely kind of dumb. I didn't really like that all that much. But the family aspects beforehand were really awesome. Amazing scenes, some great CGI, some great choreography with the fight scenes. I think it's a really fun movie, really great time. Couple things that hold it back though with Dr. Shivana. He's kind of a mid villain, but that's alright. And then the Seven Deadly Sins just kind of underutilized, and then a lot of plot points that are left still unhanged after this film with Mr. Mime and all that kind of stuff. But overall, Shazam's a great time, some absolutely amazing humor, some great family moments, and it has a nice emotional core. It's going on the great tier. Then we got Birds of Prey, and I don't really like this one as much as most people do. It's not like bad by any means. It's got its fun moments. It's pretty funny at times as well. And Black Mask is a great villain, but it's just one that I kind of forget about quite often. Don't really care about it all that much either. Final act is pretty fun though. Seeing that Black Mask chase and fight scene is really cool. Now, most of these characters don't get any time to shine or anything that makes them unique or interesting, and that's why this film kind of falls apart. Other than Harley, all of them are kind of like forgettable mid, and you don't really think about them all that much. But it's got its fun moments. I'm gonna have to put it on the med tier actually. I didn't just enjoy it as much as most people did. Wonder Woman 1984. Probably the most underrated film inside of the DCEU. It's actually really good. The soundtrack is great. The character moments are so strong. There's some great emotional moments. Maxwell Lord is an absolute awesome villain. Now the cheetah I can't say as much because the cheetah kind of sucked. And you know, plot point issues, stuff with Steve Trevor. But it does have some great moments. Maxwell Lord just steals the show as the villain, and Pedro Pascal in the role. So great. Gal Gadot gives another great performance as Wonder Woman. Some amazing fight scenes. I love the soundtrack, actually. It's such a bop. It has that nice 80s vibe that I actually like. And stuff with Gal Gadot was great as well. And when she has to renounce her wish of having Steve again, that was a pretty emotional moment, even though it was kind of ruined by how Steve was in the body of another guy. But either way, it's like there's some issues, but it's still a very decent film that has a lot of amazing moments, a great soundtrack, and it just still hits pretty well. Now, I will say Cheetah was absolutely wasted. There are a lot of plot points that are just really weird. The invisible jet stuff, I don't know. But it's still a really decent film. I'm going to put it on the decent tier, actually. Wonder Woman 1984 is pretty underrated. Then we got my favorite, the all-time comic book masterpiece of a film, Zack Snyder's Justice League. I don't even know how we got this piece of crap Justice League, but we have this masterpiece that is the Snyder Cut. Honestly, it's just crazy to me how these were at one point are part of the same movie. And it's absolutely crazy to me. Zack Snyder Justice League is a masterpiece. so many amazing moments with these characters that we get to grow throughout the entire film. We get to see, we get to love these characters and how they just grow. They have amazing arcs. It's just so well freaking done. I love Zack Snyder, and he's such a great director. This film just shows it all. Some beautiful scores, some amazing choreography, some beautiful shots. It just has a very compelling story, just seeing all these characters progress with their arcs and everything. It just works on pretty much every level for me. It's my favorite DC movie, and it's just so awesome. That final back in time scene with the Flash, even though Ezra Miller sucks as a guy, he was amazing as the Flash in that scene. And I just love everything they do. Every character gets a moment to shine. Even Steppenwolf is improved. He's absolutely amped up. He's a great villain. Now we get to see a little bit of an arc with him, as you get to kind of see how Darkseid is treating him. And honestly, it's just such a great film. It's a masterpiece. 10 out of 10 DC film. This is peak DC for me. I absolutely love Zack Snyder's Justice League. Then we got James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, another banger. James Gunn's The Suicide Squad is an awesome movie. It gives us these amazing characters that you get to grow and love throughout this entire film. Every single one of them gets their moment, gets something that you like about them, something that makes them relatable or just enjoyable to see on screen. And I love every single one of them. There's so many standout moments with these characters. And then just the end when they all come together to fight Starro against Amanda Waller's orders, it just gives me chills thinking about it, because these were such broken people. They're very bad people, but they're able to change throughout the course of the movie, find, family within one another, and then go after Starro and kick his ass. There's so many great jokes as well, some amazing choreography, and it's just such an awesome film. James Gunn directed a really awesome movie that just gives you everything that you want. There's some gory carnage, some amazing laughs, great actors, great chemistry within these characters. It's an awesome film, and it's going on the awesome tier. It's just very special just seeing this family bond between these characters, and then just seeing their stories progressing throughout the entire film. It's just so cool. The Suicide Squad's awesome. Then we got Peacemaker. Right out of the Suicide Squad, we got Peacemaker. And Peacemaker was probably our least favorite character in the Suicide Squad, but he's so elevated in this. And it's a great TV show. Invested every week with that banger of an intro. Peacemaker was such a fun time. It gave us so many great laughs, so many great character moments, with the new introductions of characters, the relationship between Peacemaker and his father. There's just a lot of stuff in here, and it was just all so well done. The final episode was a little underwhelming, and I think there was a couple of issues with some of these episodes, as some of them are forgettable, but there's still so many great references, so many great laughs, so many great emotional moments with Peacemaker, as he's a very broken character, but he's able to find a bit of family within these people as well, and just, seeing his character arc as well is just so awesome, and it's going on the great tier. I really love Peacemaker. It was a great TV show. Then we got Black Adam, pretty mid film, honestly. I enjoyed it when I watched it in the theater, but thinking back on it, it's like, I don't really care about it all that much, never want to go back and rewatch it. There's some great things with the JSA, though, and Black Adam as well, but it just doesn't really work on the story level, and then the villain. It doesn't really work for me. There's some cool action, some very great choreography with, like, Dr. Fate and stuff, but honestly, it's just a meh film. I don't really like Black Adam all that much, and I'm not going to rewatch it again. Then we got Shazam! Fury of the Gods, the biggest disappointment this year, and Shazam! Fury of the Gods just doesn't work. It's very boring. It doesn't have the same jokes that land like the first film does. The villains are super mid. The stories, the character arcs, and the moments just don't fit as well. They don't really work. It's not really focused on Billy, which it should be, and it's more focused on Freddy, and he just has become more of an unlikable character. Even though in the first film I absolutely loved him, in this film it just doesn't really work for me, and I don't really like what they did with his character. A lot of things that are just not really working. It's super boring, very forgettable, especially on the villain aspects of things. Now, there are a couple enjoyable moments with the action, and then there are funny moments as well. Even though half the jokes don't land, there are still some ones that do land. But it just doesn't work for me, especially with that ending and then Billy coming back. It just doesn't work. And Wonder Woman in there for some reason. Shazam! Fury of the Gods, I'm sadly going to have to say it. I'm putting it on the bad tier. I didn't like Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Then we got our latest film, The Flash. The Flash, it's a film I've been waiting for so long because The Flash is my favorite comic book character. The show with Grant Gustin is really what got me into everything that is comic books, and I've been waiting for a Flash movie for so long. And I can say that the Flash movie doesn't really disappoint. It has a great emotional core with Barry and his mom's story, some absolute laughs in here that 90% of the jokes land and they're absolutely hilarious. It's very well written, very well directed, a nice emotional core. Keaton's return is awesome. Sasha Kaya as Supergirl was great. All the acting is on point, especially with Ezra Miller, and there's a lot of things that are very great about this film. Now, the CGI does suck quite a bit, especially in the third act, and there's a lot of things that fall apart with this film by the third act. Like, the cameos absolutely sucked. I mean, seeing those CGI'd Supermans was really annoying, and I wanted to enjoy that. I wanted to enjoy those cameos, but it just didn't work, especially with all that CGI. But other than that, I really enjoyed this film. Some amazing acting, especially from Ezra Miller. Michael Keane's great in here. There's just a lot to enjoy about the film, especially with the laughs, just the aspects of the story, the emotional core. I really resonated with The Flash. I'm going to put it on the great tier. It's a very great film. I really enjoyed The Flash. Okay, so let's now go ahead and rank these films. So at the bottom, we got Justice League, of course. Definitely the worst. Absolute garbage. I absolutely hate Justice League. It's definitely my least favorite comic book movie of all time. Then on the bad tier, we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods. A huge letdown, and it's just disappointing as to how much I enjoyed the first film. Then on the mid tier, we got 3 films to rank. I think at the bottom, I'm going to go Suicide Squad. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go Birds of Prey at the bottom, then Suicide Squad, then Black Adam. I think I just get a bit more fun out of Suicide Squad than I get out of Birds of Prey. But that's the mid tier. On to the decent tier. I think I'm going to keep it how it is, but Wonder Woman 1984 is super underrated, and these films are both pretty decent films. Then on the great tier, we have quite a few films to rank. So at the bottom, I'm going to go with BVS. Then I'm going to go Peacemaker, Wonder Woman, Flash, and then Shazam. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good order for now. Yeah, I like how that looks. At the top of the great tier, we got Shazam. Alright, so on the awesome tier, I'm just going to switch these two around. Man of Steel and then the Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad is just a little bit more awesome than Man of Steel. And then, of course, at the masterpiece tier, we have Zack Snyder's Justice League, an all-time comic book movie great. Thank you guys so much for watching this DCEU tier list. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.